There is a reason you keep seeing this message, and it is not because of coincidence, not because your mind is wandering, and not because heaven has run out of ways to reach you. It is because something has been moving in the unseen realm for longer than you realize. Archangel Michael says you were not meant to stumble across these words casually. You were drawn here because a warning is being released, and hidden inside that warning is comfort, vindication, and the first sign that the pain you have carried has not been ignored. Stop and listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not random encouragement. It is a signal that a season is shifting, and the truth you have been waiting for is closer than it has ever been before. Type Amen if you know heaven has been speaking to you in ways other people never understood. You have asked questions in the silence. You have replayed certain moments in your mind, wondering how things could have gone so wrong, wondering why someone could wound you and then keep living as if nothing happened. That question has stayed alive in your spirit because heaven has not allowed it to die yet. There is something else you need to know. The hurt was not forgotten, and the record of it was not erased. Every tear, every unanswered prayer, every moment you tried to keep your dignity while your heart was breaking, all of it has been seen. Do not skip this part, because the message is not only that you were hurt. The message is that the wound has reached a divine hour of exposure, and what was hidden is beginning to surface. Comment God is working if you believe heaven has already started moving in silence. For so long it may have seemed like the person who caused the pain got away with it. They may have spoken smoothly, hidden their motives, or made others believe a version of the story that protected them. But there is more happening than you realize. Behind the scenes, the spiritual balance has not remained neutral. Scales have been moving. Heaven has been weighing words, intentions, actions, and the truth that was buried beneath appearances. The one who wounded you may have convinced themselves that time would cover everything, but time does not bury truth forever. At the appointed hour it exposes it. Something unexpected is approaching, and when it arrives, the false picture will begin to crack. Stay with this message because the next revelation changes everything. Type 1 believe if you trust that hidden truth cannot stay hidden forever. There have been nights when your body was tired but your mind refused to rest because your spirit kept circling the same unresolved pain. You wondered why closure never came. You wondered whether justice had forgotten your name. Yet heaven says your name has been remembered in places you cannot see. There are records that were never lost. There are tears that were not wasted. There are prayers that were not dropped on the floor of the throne room. Do not ignore this, because the mystery is not whether heaven saw it. The mystery is what heaven has been preparing in response. A hidden process has been unfolding, and part of it has involved the very person who hurt you being brought toward a truth they can no longer evade. Type 333 if you feel the atmosphere shifting around your waiting season. The wound may have taught you to question your own memory. That is what deep betrayal often does. It makes you revisit the same conversation, the same betrayal, the same silence, and ask whether you misread what was happening. But heaven is healing that confusion first, because clarity is part of your freedom. You were not imagining the red flags. You were not overreacting to the coldness. You were not wrong to notice the hidden motive behind the smile. The reason you keep seeing this message is because heaven is pulling your attention away from self-blame and toward truth. And once truth begins to rise, the false burden you have carried will begin to fall. Keep reading carefully, because there is another layer here, and it involves a conversation that has already begun behind closed doors. Comment still standing if you have survived what was meant to break you. Do not underestimate the power of what was done in secret. The pain you felt was not always loud, but it was real. Sometimes the deepest wounds come from what is implied, what is withheld, what is denied when you know the truth. Heaven has not only seen the event itself, heaven has seen the motive. That is important, because justice is never only about the action. It is also about the intention. There is a reason the pressure has intensified lately, and that reason is that hidden motives do not remain hidden forever. Someone who thought they could keep control of the narrative is beginning to lose their grip on it. A door is moving, and they do not yet know how fast truth can travel once heaven opens the way. Stay alert, because very soon a detail will emerge that makes an old story impossible to keep repeating. Type protected if you know divine covering has sustained you through more than you can explain. You may have felt the temptation to handle it yourself. That thought has visited many weary hearts. Why should I keep praying when they keep winning? Why should I stay gentle when I have every reason to become hard? Why should I trust God when my pain seems to speak louder than his answer? But here is the hidden trap. Bitterness promises strength while quietly stealing peace. Resentment says it will keep you safe, yet it slowly chains you to the very person who wounded you. Archangel Michael says this is one of the last battles before your breakthrough, because the enemy would love to exchange your peace for poison. Do not take the bait. Do not hand your future to revenge. Heaven's justice is deeper than your anger, and the truth is more powerful than your retaliation. Comment ready if you are choosing peace over poison, even before you see the full outcome. Before we continue, I feel led to share something with you. Over the years, thousands of people have reached out asking for powerful prayers they could pray during difficult seasons of life. That's why I put together a collection of some of the most powerful faith-building prayers I know. These prayers have helped people find peace during anxiety, strength during hardship, and hope when they felt like giving up. The best part is that I decided to make it completely free. If you would like a copy, simply check the link in the description and I'll send it to you. Do not wait until another difficult season arrives. Take it now while it's available and keep it close for the days ahead. Now, there is something else you need to know. There is a heavenly record over your life, and it is not symbolic only in the poetic sense. It is the testimony of every unseen endurance, every time you stayed kind when you had been given a reason to harden, every time you kept walking when the path felt like it was collapsing beneath you. The books of heaven remember what people dismissed. Your faithfulness in private has not been overlooked. Your compassion when no one applauded you has been marked. Your silence when you could have exposed everything in anger has not gone unnoticed. And because heaven keeps accurate records, the scales are not being balanced by human opinion. They are being balanced by divine truth. Something has been written that the other side cannot edit, and that detail will matter more than you know when the reveal begins. Type faith if you believe heaven keeps better records than people do. You may not realize how many unseen decisions have already been made around your situation. There have been discussions you were never invited into, and yet, heaven has not left you outside the outcome. That is the mystery. The person who caused the pain may believe the chapter ends wherever they decide it ends, but they are wrong. A hidden conversation has already begun to shift the ground beneath them. An old explanation will no longer hold. A familiar excuse will no longer work. And when the moment comes, the truth will speak with a clarity that no manipulation can silence. Keep reading, because this is where the atmosphere grows heavier before it grows lighter. The pressure you feel is not proof that you are losing. It is often the sign that the lie is being squeezed. Type yes, Lord, if you are ready for heaven's truth, not human theater. There are some wounds that take root in the body as much as in the heart. You feel them when you wake up. You feel them when you try to focus. You feel them in the quiet places where no one can see the strain. Heaven knows that your healing has been more than emotional. It has been spiritual, mental, and even physical, in the way disappointment settled into your bones. That is why this message keeps finding you. You are not being haunted by the past. You are being prepared to release it. But do not rush this process, because the truth arriving is not only about what they did. It is also about what the pain formed inside you. There is a hidden blessing in the breaking, and before this season ends, you will see why you had to become wiser, more discerning, and more anchored than before. Comment I receive if you are open to healing that reaches deeper than the wound. The enemy loves when pain becomes personal revenge, because then the heart stops listening for heaven. That is why this warning is so urgent. You are standing near a turning point where one choice can either preserve your peace or reopen the chain. Michael says there are chains falling in the unseen realm right now, but some of them are emotional chains, not just external ones. Chains of replaying the wrong, chains of wanting the other person to feel what you felt, chains of needing their confession in order to breathe. Hear this clearly. Your freedom cannot depend on their willingness to admit the truth. It depends on heaven's ability to heal you and vindicate you, and that vindication is already in motion. Something significant is approaching, and it may arrive through a conversation, a revelation, or an unexpected moment when the truth can no longer be delayed. Type 777 if you believe divine completion is near. Before long, the pressure that has been building will begin to produce evidence. That is how truth behaves when heaven gives it room. Small details start lining up. A name is mentioned where it was not mentioned before. A document, a message, a memory, a witness, a pattern, something begins to connect. And when it does, people who once felt secure in their version of events will become uneasy. The reason you need to stay close to this message is because it is preparing you to recognize the moment when the atmosphere changes. Do not be surprised if someone suddenly reaches out, suddenly softens, suddenly tries to rewrite history, or suddenly cannot hold eye contact with what they know. Hidden decisions are already being made, and the next revelation will not be gentle to the lie. Comment blessed if you sense that heaven is about to expose what darkness tried to preserve. There is another truth being revealed, and it is this: your pain did not make you lesser, it made you difficult to deceive. Some of what broke you also sharpened you. It taught you how to listen beyond words. It taught you how to discern what is true when everything around you is polished to look harmless. That kind of wisdom was expensive, but heaven does not waste expensive lessons. The very thing that looked like a season of loss has been developing the kind of sight you will need for the next chapter. So do not despise the path that was steep, because it led you into discernment, and discernment will protect the door that is about to open for you. Something unexpected is approaching, and it will require the version of you that has been refined, not the version that was still naive. Comment my time is coming if you feel your spiritual eyes opening now. You may have wondered whether the person who hurt you ever thinks about what they did. Heaven says yes, but not in the way you might imagine. There is an uneasiness forming where there once was ease. There is a disturbance in their peace because truth has a way of visiting the conscience before it visits the public eye. That is part of the justice being released. Not all consequences arrive as outward collapse. Some arrive as inner unrest that can no longer be explained away. They begin hearing the echo of what they tried to bury. They begin facing the weight of a decision that once felt convenient. And when that inward pressure breaks into the open, the story changes. Keep watching this carefully in your spirit, because what looks small now is actually the beginning of a larger exposure. Type Amen if you believe the conscience is a holy place where truth cannot be silenced forever. Do not ignore the pattern of repeated reminders, repeated memories, repeated references, because heaven often uses repetition to signal urgency. When the same issue keeps coming back, it may not be because you are stuck. It may be because the matter has reached its turning point. A season cannot remain hidden once its time has come. A storm does not last forever, and neither does concealment. There is a dawn breaking after the storm, and the first light does not usually arrive with noise. It arrives with quiet certainty. That is the kind of transition happening around you. You may still see some darkness, but the horizon is changing. The truth is beginning to color the sky before the rest of the world notices. Stay until the end of this message, because the closing revelation is where peace begins to settle. Type 1. Trust God if you are surrendering the outcome into divine hands. Many people watching this message have been carrying burdens they never talk about. If that sounds like you, I want to give you something special. I created a free prayer guide filled with powerful prayers for protection, breakthrough, peace, healing, and strength. Thousands of believers have already downloaded it and shared how much it encouraged them during difficult moments. There is absolutely no cost. I simply wanted to place this resource into the hands of people who need it most. If you feel led, go to the description and claim your free copy before continuing. One prayer prayed at the right moment can change more than you realize. Now listen carefully, because the next part of this message is important. Heaven has also been healing your relationship with silence. For a long time, silence may have felt like abandonment. You prayed and heard nothing. You hoped and saw little. You tried to understand and were met with more waiting. But there is a secret in holy silence. It is not always absence. Sometimes it is alignment. Sometimes God is letting the hidden layers settle so that the answer can arrive without confusion. Sometimes heaven waits until the timing is right because a premature truth can be twisted, but a timely truth brings freedom. This is why the current season has felt so heavy and so precise at the same time. Something is being timed perfectly, and no enemy can interfere with the appointed hour. Before this season ends, the truth will no longer be a whisper. It will be a door opening. Type chosen if you know silence was never proof that you were forgotten. There are hidden blessings wrapped inside the very place you wanted to escape. That can be hard to accept when the memory still stings. But it is true. The hardship taught you where your boundaries must be. The betrayal revealed who was never safe. The unanswered questions trained your spirit to seek God more deeply than appearances. These are not small things. Heaven has been weaving them into your future, even while your present still felt unsettled. And now, because you are willing to keep going, the lesson is about to yield a reward. Recognition is coming. Not every wound will be addressed by every person, but the truth will be known where it needs to be known. The narrative that diminished you will lose power. The part of the story they tried to bury will rise. Keep reading because that is where your dignity begins to return. Comment God is working if you can already sense vindication gathering. A hidden obstacle has also been present, and it has not always been the person who hurt you. Sometimes the greatest battle is the quiet internal agreement that says, maybe I should stop expecting justice. Maybe this is just how my story ends. But that is not your ending. That thought is a trap designed to make you settle for emotional captivity. The moment you accept injustice as permanent, you stop noticing the subtle ways heaven is moving. That is why Archangel Michael is warning you now. There is more happening than you realize, and the unseen resistance is trying to keep you from receiving the peace that is already on the way. Do not consent to despair. Do not surrender your hope at the edge of the breakthrough. Something significant is already in motion, and it will become undeniable sooner than expected. Type 1 receive if you are rejecting hopelessness and receiving divine assurance. There will be a moment when a truth lands and the room changes. It might be a sentence, a confession, a revelation, or a sudden shift in how others speak to you. What matters is not the exact form first, but the effect. The effect will be that what was hidden can no longer keep your soul in suspense. You will know, others will know. And even if the person who caused the pain tries to control the outcome, heaven will not allow the full weight of truth to be muted. This is why your spirit has felt restless. Creation itself seems to lean toward revelation when a season of justice is near. A hidden book is opening. A sealed page is turning. The record is being read. And when it is, what was once a source of shame will become a testimony of survival. Type protected if you know heaven has guarded your name through the storm. You do not need to chase the moment. You need to remain ready for it. That is the difference between anxiety and discernment. Anxiety demands evidence before it can breathe. Discernment stays alert because it trusts timing. So stay alert now. Keep your heart soft, your hands open, your spirit listening. The next days may carry a surprising message, an unexpected acknowledgement, or a piece of information that makes an old situation impossible to interpret the same way again. Heaven is not only bringing justice, heaven is restoring dignity, and dignity is powerful because it allows you to stand without begging to be understood. Comment still standing if you are ready to let truth restore your posture. As this message moves towards its end, the atmosphere is no longer only warning. It is also comfort. The reason the pain was allowed to remain unresolved for so long is not because heaven was absent, but because a deeper work was happening beneath the visible surface. You were being strengthened for a truth you could not have carried earlier. You were being prepared for a closure that would not simply explain the past, but free you from it. That is the mercy hidden inside divine timing. Not every delayed answer is a denied answer. Some are held until your heart is strong enough to receive them without being crushed again. And you are stronger now than you were before. The storm did not destroy you. It unveiled you. Before long, you will see why. Type faith if you know the storm was never your burial place. Now the weight is lifting. Not all at once, but enough for your spirit to feel it. The scales are not broken. They are balancing. The records are not forgotten. They are opening. The chains are not permanent. They are falling. The dawn is not imagination. It is breaking. And the person who caused the pain cannot stay forever in the shadow of their own choices. Truth is moving toward them, and it will also free you from the ache of endless wondering. That is the justice heaven has been preparing. Not only exposure, but release. Not only revelation, but healing. Not only vindication, but peace. Hold on to that, because this chapter is closing with purpose, not emptiness. Comment ready if you are ready to step out of the old wound and into the peace that follows truth. Archangel Michael says you kept seeing this message because heaven wanted you to know one final thing. Your pain was never invisible. Your tears were never wasted, and your future was never stolen. The truth is approaching, and when it arrives, it will not only expose what was done, it will also restore what was taken from your spirit. Stay close to God. Do not let bitterness write the last sentence. Do not let fear interpret the signs. The appointed hour is near, and peace is coming with it. There is a reason you were chosen to hear this now, and that reason is that heaven is warning you while also preparing you. The next revelation will not destroy you. It will release you. Type Amen if you receive the healing, justice, and divine timing already moving toward you. Before you leave, remember that my free prayer collection is waiting for you in the description below. Thousands of people have already downloaded it and used these prayers during seasons of anxiety, uncertainty, spiritual battles, and breakthrough. I made it completely free because I want every believer to have access to powerful prayers when they need them most. If this message encouraged you today, make sure you claim your free copy before you go. And if this message spoke to your heart, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you in faith. May God bless you, strengthen you, and guide every step ahead.